Jaclyn Glenn claims that Shane Dawson's recent video on Eugenia Cooney has been whitewashed and laced with false information. Stay tuned for Shop to the Point News. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Tommy Senior, Shop to the Point News. It's been a wild night. Wild night. Stayed up all night. And this unfolding controversy with Jaclyn Glenn's problem with Shane Dawson's number one trending video, The Return of Eugenia Cooney, which is a documentary. Of course, Eugenia Cooney, most well known for her unbelievably unhealthy, skinny figure. And the way I remember things going down, that Jaclyn Glenn sort of took charge of the situation, if I remember correctly. I had to dust off the old memory. Just a lot of drama I cover in a year. And she had a real problem with this. She said that she suggested that Shane may have whitewashed this interview a little bit, just claiming that Shane has a talent to make people look maybe even better than they are, and make you look crazy or like a sociopath, like the Jake Paul series. It really, because he's a tremendous YouTuber. And he has a habit or a gift, depending on how you want to look at it, in doing that. She took exception, mostly exception, to this particular part I'm going to play for you right here. And I'll let you know what else is going on. Here we go.
A lot of people just being like, oh, your friends aren't helping, your friends aren't doing anything, whatever. But I'm sure behind the scenes, I'm sure everybody was always reaching out and whatever.
Yeah, there were some people that were. Then there was kind of some people that kind of like really weren't. Really, there was almost like some people that like never really said anything to me like before, but then like later on were kind of like bullying me into like trying to make like decisions for me, and kind of like they were just not wanting to listen to me at all, not really wanting to hear like how I'm feeling. Before, they never really seemed to like care much about anything, so I guess that's kind of hard. But then I also have like good people in my life that like generally.
All right, Jaclyn thinks that's directed directly at her and some of the people that helped her. Jaclyn claims that she had to trick Eugenia to get help for herself. And actually, I guess call her up and say something was going on, and it was actually an intervention. And Eugenia clearly states in this video that she sort of came to, she kind of came to a place where she decided that she needed help with her eating disorder. Of course, she would never admit she had an eating disorder. When she was streaming, she often blew it off as just, I have this really skinny figure. This is like DNA. And clearly it was not. Eugenia did go on, probably for the first time in the video, admitted that she had an eating disorder, but she didn't specify exactly what it was. Jaclyn has also claimed that the mother of Eugenia Cooney is the problem in this situation, that she was suggested that she was somehow preventing Eugenia from getting help. And they're pretty upset. They're pretty upset the way this is being portrayed. I did find it extremely odd myself that there was actually a lawyer present for this interview. And yeah, that's kind of weird for somebody who's not like doesn't have pending lawsuits, as far as I know. She's not a criminal. She's not coming up on a trial. There's no litigation that I'm aware of. That seems a bit strange for a lawyer to be at an interview with a social media star. I mean, was she afraid of saying something that would possibly hold her liable? That doesn't seem to make any sense. The only real reason a lawyer could be there is to control the narrative. But in fairness, when I watched the video, I didn't get the impression that, was there a question that Shane didn't ask? I didn't get the impression that Shane hit her as, I don't know what I would have asked her that would have been more hard hitting. I didn't get that impression. So I don't know what role the lawyer played and what he didn't play, but I know by virtue of being there it could change, even if he didn't say, stop, don't answer that, just by virtue of being there, it would have to change the dynamic of the entire interview. Another thing that was going on, and Shane is getting accused of softballing her, he does an interview with the psychiatrist that he usually uses in situations like this, and she basically tells him to go easy on her. Don't be very direct because of her condition. Because this is the way people with eating disorders behave, and if you don't want to be a part of the problem, you won't ask her these questions, and you won't speak to her in a certain way. So there's like two things going on here. There's the lawyer aspect, which is just weird to me. The only possible reason for him to be there would be to control a narrative. I can't come up with a decent reason why it would be necessary for her to be there. And the fact that the psychiatrist says you got to deal with these things, carefully. And certainly Shane Dawson wouldn't want to hurt. Certainly Shane Dawson wouldn't want to hurt the situation. She would probably want to aid in the recovery. But the title of the video is "The Return of Eugenia Cooney," so I guess she's back. She's gonna be streaming again. My impression in this video, I felt like I was watching somebody in recovery and not actually had been recovered. I mean, I feel like if I had to criticize Shane for anything, that maybe this thing happened too soon. Maybe we weren't ready for a documentary yet. We're not there. She's very young. I mean, at one point, I'm sure. I mean, look, she's known to lie about her condition before. I think I can safely say she might have lied again. When Shane asked her what condition, what type of eating disorder she had, she said something like, "I didn't get too labely." I don't believe that. Certainly the doctors told her what she had. And she said, no, they don't really give it a label. Come on. I don't know how important that is, but it was evasive. And the psychiatrist told Shane that she was going to be evasive. So she's not comfortable yet. She looked better, but certainly she didn't look great. There's still a lot of concern there. And, you have to sort of wonder about Jaclyn's claims. I hate when people say this, like she seemed believable, but she did. And the fact that the lawyer was there, and the way I remember the situation is Jaclyn really took charge of it on social media. I imagine she was behind the scenes. And not only that, Keemstar has confirmed that Jaclyn was the person that got Eugenia help. And she didn't come to it on her own terms. And that makes a certain amount of sense, because when she was streaming, she was saying, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just naturally skinny. So I have a tendency to believe Jaclyn. And now she talked about her mother. And I don't know. The mother was not in the video other than a few shots. And I don't know. I think that would lead a lot of people to believe, well, the mother must have hired this lawyer to control that. But there's no way to say that for sure. The mother played almost no role in the video. The interview, Eugenia claimed that anything goes. I didn't feel like that was the case. Whether the lawyer stopped a question or not, just by virtue of his presence, it's got to change the dynamic. I would have never done this interview if I was Shane Dawson, just for that reason alone. Why do we need a lawyer? You're not facing a 5 to 10, over some kind of scandal. You're coming back from a rehab of sorts to deal with your either bulimia or anorexia of some sorts. So it's a strange video. It takes about 30 minutes to get to the point. I don't feel like I learned a lot. It didn't feel hard-hitting. I don't know whether that's because of the psychiatrist or the lawyer. It didn't. I don't feel like I know Eugenia Cooney any more than I did before. She still seems just as evasive as ever, and that could be because of the condition. I mean, it's really tough for me to grasp, because there's food in front of me, I'm eating it. If there's a beer in front of me, I'm drinking it. If there's a cigarette in front of me, I'm smoking it. It's like I just can't get my head around what she's going through. But it's certainly, there's a wall there and she's protecting something. It's going to be really interesting to find out exactly what's going on here. I think Shane interviewed her a little too early. I don't get the impression by her looks or behavior that she's recovered at all. I'm sure people were taking advantage. I'm sure I saw people on my own timeline make sort of shameless videos about her. I don't buy that from Jaclyn. I think Jaclyn was engaged, and she has two friends in her video that confirm that's the way it went down. Keemstar confirmed that's the way it went down, and then the interview was weird. So there's something to this, and I think we're going to find out about it in the next couple of days. I still can't get my head around this completely. You got the mother that's supposedly, what mother wouldn't, if you saw your daughter like that, why wouldn't you want to get her help? The only thing I can come up with is the mother's crazy, if that's true. Because we don't know if that's true. But if you watch Jaclyn Glenn's videos, there's two videos out there. There's one kind of long, drawn-out one, and she claims Keemstar called her and say, get it short. Get it shorter and quick. Just make your points and go. I just found her very believable, and I found the Shane Dawson video very strange. I think the concern here, and the arc, I suppose, is the problem with Eugenia Cooney is she's an influencer, and if you're like, you could, maybe she's sick, she's something wrong, she doesn't do this on purpose, but just by virtue of having that kind of power, the impact on girls, it's got to be apparent. Eugenia's a sweetheart. She's an absolute sweetheart. She's a lovely person. I know friends of mine met her at VidCon in 2017. Absolutely lovely. But that's sort of the problem when she's making these videos telling there's nothing wrong with me, and girls are looking at her. Might get the wrong idea. In a lot of ways, this video was kind of dangerous for those girls, in my opinion.
Wow.